New details are emerging about a misstep by the FBI in the aftermath of January 6th. During an investigation over who planted pipe bombs at the RNC and DNC headquarters on the night before the January 6th attacks, agents mistakenly questioned a Biden staffer who happens to share the same name as one of the known insurrectionists at the Capitol. That's one of the new pieces of information of new reporting from the new book entitled Sedition Hunters: How January 6th Broke the Justice System, which outlines how law enforcement was so overwhelmed they came to rely on online sleuths to catch January 6th rioters. And joining us now is the author of that book, NBC News justice reporter Ryan Riley. Ryan, thank you for writing this. Tell us more about this group of people.
Yeah, it's really a diverse group of people who are ultimately driving a lot of these investigations and really working really hard and are really ahead of the FBI. That's one of the things that was really surprising to the book for me, is that, I was talking to these people who are just very far ahead of where the FBI is. And the FBI has this Hollywood reputation of being really, sophisticated. You think of it as like, enhanced, right? They're on a computer, they're zooming in, they make that picture better. They have these great databases. And really, that's just not the reality of the FBI. They're a really big bureaucracy that I think struggled to keep up with what online sleuths were doing here and compile all of this information. And not only that, they missed a lot of these open signs on social media that we saw out there about how this was all sort of coming together for January 6th.
So give us some more examples of the types of, valuable information or links they've been able to contribute.
One thing is just nicknames, right? So the FBI usually puts out nicknames for bank robbers, and that really drives a lot of media attention. But they're not really doing that in the case of January 6th. They're just adding new people to the list. And I can't write a story, for example, about the 537th person added to this FBI page. But if the FBI gave them a funny nickname, that's a story that gets headlines, that gets attention. But instead, they're just sort of dumping it onto this page. They're giving a number. They're not really even saying what that individual did or why they're looking for them. So there was a recent example of someone who they added to the page. They didn't give them a nickname, but they were wearing a pink beret, and that became sort of the social media thing and really got a lot of attention and went viral, frankly. And that ended up being an identification because a boyfriend was actually standing inside, an ex-boyfriend rather, of this individual suspect was actually standing inside of a store, and his friend showed him his phone and said, "Hey, look at this crazy thing the FBI tweeted out." And the guy was like, "Hey, that's my ex-girlfriend," and he ended up turning her in.
Gosh.
So it really sparks a lot of this. And these nicknames are important, including, one of my favorite nicknames of someone who was just arrested recently was Conan O'Riot, nicknamed after somebody who used to work in this building, one of the legendary late night hosts, Conan O'Brien.
I feel like it was a pretty familiar story when it's an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend who turns a suspect in. So talk to us, though, about the other part of this, is how the Justice Department was so tested and challenged and, frankly, overwhelmed by the sheer size of this investigation, the sheer number of suspects.
This would have been overwhelming for even, I think, someone that was more organized, an organization that wasn't as sort of scattershot and divided across the country, because you had these field offices and they were kind of their own little fiefdoms to a certain extent. Some of this comes back from headquarters, but you're dealing with people that you haven't really interacted with regularly, and you're doing this all over email. And just even the communication systems alone, what the sleuths were able to use. They're using platforms similar to Slack and sort of these group chats where you can organize things very easily. And okay, here's this piece of evidence I uncovered about this individual. And that's not how the FBI is really organized. They're really sort of structured and hierarchical. And also, just basically who goes into the FBI. Frankly, a lot of people who go into the FBI, if you're really tech savvy, you can make a lot of money elsewhere. And that's really a challenge, I think, for the Bureau that they're facing, because you're going to go into this bureaucracy that's really behind the times, that, doesn't have the best technology available. And you're not going to be making the amount of money that you could be. Also, you can't smoke weed. That's a part of this too, that they've relaxed their schedule, they've relaxed their rules inside the FBI for that a little bit. But still, if you want to apply to the FBI, you have to, give up marijuana for at least a year before you sign up.
The new book is entitled Sedition Hunters: How January 6th Broke the Justice System. NBC News justice reporter Ryan Riley, thank you very much. Congratulations on the book. And we'll be